In this video, I'll be looking at the rank 13 EU West Karma player. I'll point out some areas of improvement for Enchanter Support players, and I'll be pointing out common mistakes that you'll need to fix if you'd like to climb to 700 LP, the same as this Karma player here. So you might actually want to take down some notes to really reinforce everything I'm saying here. But let's actually get into the gameplay now. So one thing you need to be doing level 1 is looking for the RQ angle as Karma, because most champions can't respond to the range. In this case against the Nautilus, it's actually quite hard to find an angle, because if you find one, he'll just hook you. Just as we see there on the Jhin. But when you're playing against a melee hook champion like Nautilus, once that hook is down level 1, you can get aggressive and really go try to kite him, poke him with autos, as you can see there, and hit him with the Q. Here, looking at the wave strength, we can see that the enemy bot lane's about to hit level 2, and the red side is not respecting it at all. They're really far up, and you see they're walking quite late, and now Karma has to waste flash, and she should have just flashed that hook in the first place. But because she was out of position, and because she greeted her flash, she's now really low, has to use her health pots, and the lane is not going to be so good anymore. So that's one common mistake you need to be avoiding in your games. When you're playing against a hook champion, you need to respect the hook and be behind minions. But now because of that mistake, Nautilus can go for a flash Q because Karma's flashless, and they nearly find the kill there. But at this stage, the lane is kind of over for red side. If the enemy jungler was pathing towards bot side, this would be a very fast dive, and this would create an uncontrollable snowball for the blue side. So now Karma has to play very respectful, and Jhin is going to have a hard time CSing, because Varus can poke him down when he tries to hit minions. This is all because of Karma's mistake and not respecting wave strength and being out of position. So make sure you're not doing this in your games, because the lane quite literally can be over, just from that one mistake. The only thing is that you'll get away with it in lower elos, because you won't be punished for it. But if your goal is to climb, then you've got to improve your play so you don't do this in higher elo games. So you can see the Varus going for those Qs there. Nice response from Karma with the shield. And here they really do need to get back to base, because they just cannot lane like this. They're going to have to lose a few minions because of that mistake. And don't think mistakes that you make as an enchanter stay in bot lane. This could have extended into the jungle with the enemy having priority, and that allowing Rumble getting the first crab. And it could have opened invades for them onto the Nidalee as well, because of how big of a lead they just created. When you recall, you need to always be looking for roams. If your ADC is farming safely and there's no threat to him, then you need to be looking to see if you can do something else on the map. So here you can see Karma finds the Nautilus. He was for some reason walking in there alone, and he's getting punished for that now. Rumble shows up, and we have to do our best to keep our Nidalee alive. Really nice there. Big mistake from Nautilus walking in by himself. Maybe he wasn't tracking Nidalee. Or maybe he just forgot that he shouldn't be walking alone into Fog of War as a support. So that mistake from Nautilus has actually redeemed the bot lane now. And here we can see Tristana's recalling in the middle of river, Renekton's sitting around. We need to be aware of what's happening out of our lane. So following up, slowing, rooting, and just like that we set the kill up for Renekton. So you need to actually be sure that you are looking outside of your lane when there's nothing to be doing. If you take a look here, you can see Jhin is half health and very low mana. So he's probably going to want to recall after this, because once Varus returns, we're not going to be ever winning 2v2 versus full health, full mana targets. So I would reckon they're going to recall here, and Karma having, let's see how much gold. 1,000 gold, she's just going to take the base with Jhin. Because if they stay in lane, they're not going to be able to win 2v2. So once you recall, again, you need to be looking for roams. There's nothing available, and just make sure you're not roaming when the lane is frozen for Jhin, or he's in danger of dying. So back into lane we go, and here we can see with the wave that they are zoning us. Here, trying to poke the Nautilus when he has his hook is a very big mistake, and fighting 2v2 versus an all-in lane as two poke champions is definitely not ideal. They could have just waited for the wave to come in, so they could have just been patient. Jhin does manage to find the trade kill on Nautilus, but this is very bad because they traded 1 kill for 2, and their wave is gonna crash into the tower, and they're gonna lose minions. Well, Jhin is gonna lose minions. and Varus is getting more fed. So anyway, recalled. There's nothing for us to be doing bot lane. This is like the perfect time to be looking for a roam or to be looking to place down vision. So there's no roam for mid lane because if we run at Tristana, she'll just jump away. So he's just going to help out Nidalee with the dragon here. And then I assume she'll return back to bot lane unless there's something else to do in the mid lane. But there probably isn't if Renekton's this low. But maybe if Nidalee moves with us, we can find something. So Karma's moving. Let's be pinging the intention of our play. Just looking for the root, looking for some damage, and that Nidalee got caught out by Varus there. So do you see how that mistake from earlier, turning into a losing lane into no priority, has converted into our jungler being killed because of it? So here we can see Varus is very far away from the fight, kiting the Nautilus while Varus can't actually damage us. And Rumble is there, and this is going to turn into a very bad situation again. So that's Jhin dying again, 2 deaths, and you can see he's starting to get out farmed. The Varus is 3-0. This is a very bad situation, all stemming from that one mistake where they could have just been patient in the lane, let the wave crash, and then bounced it and then played to their strengths as a poke lane. Sitting behind minions and pushing the wave, so Nautilus can't find hooks. But because of that mistake, here we are stuck under tower all game long, trying to find CS and unable to roam. So we can see on the map there, Nautilus has just shown top lane. This is gonna mean we need to shove the wave in fast, crash it, maybe look for some play of our own. Or if Varus returns back to the bottom lane here, we need to zone him off this wave. So you can see here how they're posturing so aggressively already. There is Varus, and they're going to be doing their best to zone him here because the Nautilus isn't around. So how will Varus win 1 versus 2? It's just not a thing really, is it? As an ADC. So as you can see there, they almost take 2 plates and they managed to zone Varus off a full wave because the Nautilus showed top for a roam. When it wasn't actually the best of times. Because the best times are when you crash the wave and the enemy's not able to crash it back before your return. Anyway, Jhin takes a recall. We don't need a recall, so we're gonna look for something else on the map. And we get caught out by Tristana, not expecting her to be sitting there. I wouldn't have expected that myself, to be honest. I would have been thinking she's returning to lane because we didn't have any vision catching her, I don't think. So a bit of an unfortunate pick off there. You can see Jin's farming safely under tower. And he's now in no threat because we saw where Nautilus and Varus are. So this is one of those times where we can look for a roam. And if you're unsure if a roam is available or not, you can walk through the jungle between mid and bot lane and then decide where you're actually going to go to. This is something that high-low supports consistently do. It allows them to find more roams. Anyway, we can see they're just farming peacefully here, no action on here. Renekton dies, and this game's not looking very good. And we're struggling to find an impact because we've lost our lane. So how can Karma come back from this, do you think? The usual way for comebacks is really just waiting for the enemy to make mistakes, find picks, find number advantage fights. Or you find big bounties. Even if it's like 1-for-1 and the enemy has a big bounty, it's really worth. It can get you back into game. But because we didn't play as good as we could have, and our mid lane is getting obliterated by Rumble and Tristana, we're getting dove now, as you can see, being on the back foot. And it's looking like a very difficult game. There's no real reason for Nidalee to be walking up like this or for Karma. There are no camps here and there is no fight here because we do not want to be fighting 2 versus 3 as support and jungler versus ADC, jungler and support, especially when we're behind. So Karma dies for that there. Got baited by the Nidalee and fight is breaking out because of that, and Renekton rotated and actually found a shutdown there. Maybe this fight can actually look good with the Sylas TP, because Urgot's not moving. He's just chilling in top lane. yeah, Urgot doesn't TP, and this is like the ticket back into the game. Our team has saved us. So whenever fights are going on like this, 5v5, 4v4, you need to make sure you're actually participating. But of course Karma wasn't able to because she was dead. But you also need to understand your role in these fights is to do your best to try set up kills without dying. More importantly, just don't die overall, and keep your laners and your fed carry safe. You want to be protecting the player who's 5 and 0, not the player who's 0 and 5. So that fight went really well. Our team all rotated. We managed to find a 5v4 numbers advantage fight. Found some shutdowns, and now we managed to get some plates there. And we'll have a good recall now for the Jhin. So now the game's looking a little bit more even. We're still 3,000 gold behind. But it's still playable. So make sure you're never giving up in your games. If you're ever flaming in chat as an Enchanter support, just know you're trying to lose the game because you're not going to be carrying the game. You need carries to actually carry you. You provide the peel so they can be alive, and then they deal the damage to actually carry the game. So here we can see laning phase is over, and as the Enchanter or as the support in general, you need to be grouping up with whoever is furthest ahead on the map. Here we see fight breaking out, Nautilus finds a hook, Karma's forced to flash away. So like why are they in the pit in the first place, in the river, when there's no dragon to fight over, you know? They don't exactly need vision there, they can just farm be safe under their towers and being behind for a little while. So you can see Nautilus here making a classic mistake. He's walking up into the jungle alone and on half health, so he's gonna get picked off. So that's what Karma and Nidalee almost just did, but they managed to get away with flashes. So now this makes the game more even, 5v4. We can actually... Now this is, you know, when you can actually put down vision. When you have priority in your lanes, you know where everyone is on the map. You know, Varus is mid, Rumble's probably farming his jungle, Urgot just died top, Nautilus is dead. You know, so who else can really contest you? And we can see Tristana's up there top lane as well. So even if you don't have any gold to recall for, if there's no need to peel the Jhin or the Renekton or anything, you can go recall, get your wards recharged, and then look to move to wherever a fight is going on. See if you can save anyone, see if you can maybe find it, like change a fight around, change a fight from 1v1 to 2v1, and make sure you don't walk into the jungle when there's nothing to really walk in for like this. So here you can see going safe. Just put down some vision, defensive vision around the jungle. And keep everyone safe. So I don't like the way Karma's warding here right now, because Jhin and Nidalee aren't exactly in a position to help if she gets spotted, or the Sylas or Renekton. She could have just easily died there, walking into Fog of War alone. When she should have actually rotated there was when her team was moving in with her to put down vision, or when they had waves pushed out and we could see enemy laners in lanes. Because she could have just walked into a Rumble for all we know. Or a Nautilus and some other champion, you know? So if this is 700 LP Challenger gameplay, what does your gameplay look like? Karma has not been in the fights that she should be in, and she's been making mistakes left and right, and now she's getting a bit carried by her team, despite all of these mistakes she's been making. So you can see Jhin getting engaged on there, and Renekton comes in for the sandwich, and you know, the team's playing quite well. All Karma really has to do here is just keep them alive. You see she tanked the hook there for Nidalee. That was really nice by her. You know, shield the players, speed up with her Shurelya's when she needs to run in or run away, and you know, as long as her carries are alive and they're doing well, then they can actually win the game. So you can see they just won a fight there because they found a pick on the rumble and they managed to get a good fight. This is one of the best times ever to actually go warding, where they've actually managed to win a fight like this, where they've killed 4 players. But she's already put down the vision, so there's nothing to actually go ward for. And you need to keep in mind what objectives are coming up and be aware of what side of the map you should be warding. Because if everyone's playing around top side and you're warding the bottom side, you're leaving your teammates up to like a 4v5 there, and your wards just aren't providing any value. So it looks like they've actually managed to neutralize the gold lead the enemy had, because they've made quite a number of mistakes. And good thing Karma hasn't been making too many terrible mistakes like the Nautilus walking into people, Fog of War alone. So you can see Varus farming alone there, or with the with the Nautilus. They're running in. Shrelia speed everyone up. You can see when everyone's around and there's 2 people farming mid, you can go look for that 5v2, and just like that they're going to secure the dragon. So it looks like they're actually going to the Baron now, because it's spawning in a few seconds. Why are they not doing the Ocean Dragon? It's because it doesn't really provide all that much value right now. If you get this Ocean Drake, it's gonna still be another 2 dragons until Soul, and the regeneration it provides won't be as valuable as this Baron for the next few minutes. This Baron will allow them to actually push out lanes and look for fights. So you can see everyone's already respawned here. Rumble's making big plays. I think Karma just ate that whole ulti, didn't move out of the way. But you can see enemy was walking in one by one into this Baron pit, and they're just trading kills. I think they might have been pushed off there, off the Baron. Yeah, they definitely can't do this because Nautilus and Varus are coming still. Wow, they actually finished it. But yeah, they really need to get out now. But you can see Karma positioning right in front of like where everyone would be coming from instead of like the back of the pit, so she can support her team. You know, that positioning just wasn't very good there. So we're obviously running to the next objective, but here obviously I don't think it's a play because we're not going to be first there unless our team can somehow carry us again. So you can see Karma walks in there by herself, you know, into like a 2v5 or like more like a 1v5 because Nidalee was so low, and she didn't do anything again. So you see, you know, if you're dying as an enchanter, it should really be screaming to you that you're out of position, and you need to fix that. But as you can see here, her team managed to ace the enemy team. So, you know, Karma is getting very carried in this game and having like quite a low impact. So they're gonna manage to secure the Ocean Dragon here. And it looks like they've actually flipped the game around, the Sylas and the Renekton and Nidalee. At least she can still provide speed ups and shields, even if she's behind. So, you know, if you lose lane and there's at least like 1 or 2 other players who aren't completely feeding, there's still some hope for the game. You can see Nautilus getting quite desperate there with his flash, trying to find a pick. You know, he's realizing, oh, we're falling behind, even though we won lane. And he's getting desperate to try and make a play. You can see there at the bottom lane, Nidalee and Sylas making plays, pushing towers. But Karma's here sitting with the 349 Jhin. You can see everyone's coming in for a sandwich. Karma's trying to get in there, look for some setup. Shrelia's everyone up. Looks like they find the pick again, the Renekton on the Varus and the Nautilus because they're quite immobile. And once again, getting a bit carried by the team. Walks into Urgot there, nearly pays for it with her life. But at least she managed to, I think she managed to use, to waste his ulti there. So having some kind of impact. But you know, as you can see, she can still provide the shields. But as you can see, this was just one big mistake in lane and in Challenger that can really ruin your game. You know, Karma did have like a lot of places where she could have redeemed herself, or a lot of other plays she could have made, or, you know, positions she could have not been in where she died. But like overall, Karma's not playing very well this game. And this is 700 LP Challenger, so imagine what your gameplay looks like. Looks like they might actually win the game off that. No, I don't think they will be able to. Enemies are respawning and they're quite low on health and mana. So you're just gonna recall here, regroup, look for a five-man group and just end the game. So game's nearly over, and as you can see, even if your lane is ruined, you can still come back, even if, like, you know, you're making these mistakes. So you can see the severity of this mistake here that Karma made. Imagine what the mistakes you're making in your games that are going unpunished, that are holding you back from actually climbing further. So you can see there, held the wave for Silas. Looks like they're grouping up for this Baron that's gonna be spawning soon. So this is a pretty decent time to ward because she's walking in with Nidalee. She's not she's not in danger of getting hooked by Nautilus alone with no help. Her team's actually around. And being ahead now as a team, looks like they should be able to just take this Baron and end the game. Yeah, it looks like they're finding a pick again. Stana jumping in, hitting the support. Really nice, baiting all of her abilities onto the support. Looks like they're just gonna win this fight and win the game. So hopefully you found this commentary useful and you've actually seen some of the mistakes and areas you can improve in for your own gameplay by looking at this Karma. If you want coaching to actually get help with improving, you can check my links in the description, look at my Discord. I'll have my Discord server in the comments so you can join there. You can see my reviews, the rate I charge, and all that good stuff there. So you can see they're actually going to win the game now, despite all of the earlier mess. So GG there. Lots of room for improvement for a 700 LP there, Challenger.